and today I want to do a video about dreadlock sectioning for you. Sectioning your dreads by yourself is difficult and intimidating. I apologize for the lack of fanciness to this video. I just wanted to give you a guide that shows visually what you really need to be doing to section your own locks. So this first picture kind of shows me holding a mirror in one hand and parting my hair in the back with the other hand looking into another mirror. And this is the best setup I could come up with. I mean, if you have cool stands and stuff for your mirrors and you can adjust them all fancy, that's great. But if you only got your hand and two mirrors, you can make it work. So yeah, this is the way I did this. It's very low tech, I'd say. Whoops. So the next image I'm going to show you, and I apologize again, this is like, yeah. Here's the first section you're going to be doing. The very first section, you're just going to take the very bottom layer of your hair and you're going to just carve that out. So this horizontal line here is going to be the part you're going to make with a rat tail comb or whatever tool you have, and put the rest of your hair up in a ponytail. I took this picture a little bit later in the process. I had some more dreads made, but really this row of 4 or 6 or whatever you're doing is the one that counts. I made my sections about the size of a US quarter. Maybe that's an inch or 2 centimeters tall. So that is going to give me medium to thin-ish dreads, but not super thin, so they'll be manageable. It's important here, you can definitely use triangle parts if your hairline is weird, as long as they're equilateral triangles. Basically, sectioning everything, you just need to make sure that it's not oblong. So this first section, if you want thin dreads, you might do 5 or 6. Thick dreads, you might do 4 or 3. And you just want them to not be oblong. So use that as a basic guideline. Okay, so the next section, you can see the horizontal line we took from our first section. And the next section I like to do are 2 sections above the ears. It gives me a nice good guideline, and it's kind of starting to fill out my hairline. These, again, they're not perfect squares, but, you know, this is kind of an equilateral triangle. It's not oblong in any way. This is a pentagonal shape. Here's a trapezoidal shape. They're all good. And one thing you'll want to be careful of above your ear is that you make this part line fall directly, directly above where your ear connects to your head. If you had a dread here, you would be miserable because it would always rub on your ear. So I always make sure I can put one behind the ear and one in front of the ear, and I'm a lot happier that way. And again, this section might be less tall if you're doing thinner dreads. It might be taller if you're doing thicker dreads. You might have 5 or 6 dreads instead of 3. You might have 2 dreads. It all depends on the size that you're going for. So these around the ear sections are important to me, and I like to make this line horizontal again because it's going to help us in a little bit. So after you do the over the ear sections, which you can see are already done here, you pull your hair up again, and this is a little trough area right here. So in this trough, you're going to make another horizontal part, and you're going to make a new section. And I apologize for my shoddy line work, but you're just going to make a new section here. I like to edge it with triangle sections to go along with this natural little trough shape. Make, I don't know, like a bowl section. And you can see, note here that we're starting to stack our dreads, so you're going to want to put the part line directly above another dread. You're not going to want to put this part above this part, or you're going to have really obvious scalpy areas, and it's just not that great. So make sure you're doing a brick lay pattern. Bricks lay in a way that they overlap instead of having straight lines between them. So part over a dread and part over a dread. You can see that. So the next section we'll do, which might be confusing to see in this picture because I had taken it when I had done a lot more dreads. We're going to go from temple to temple. So from temple across the back of the head to the other temple. And again, you can see in this picture, I have a part directly above a dread directly above a part above a dread, and so on. And my sections are trying not to be oblong. Here is here's a picture that shows the section I'm doing. So it goes from your temple all the way around the back of your head. Here it shows the original row. So here's your original row, your over the ear row, this little trough row, and then you have your temple to temple row. And again, I'm making slightly thicker dreads, so this is I'm taking it a little bit taller. So yeah, temple to temple, over the ear, in your little trough row with your triangle sectioning. One thing, this purple line actually isn't supposed to be here. I don't know why I put a part there. I don't know. But along your hairline, it's sometimes hard to stagger your part, so you might have to have a little tiny bit oblong section to make it work. But I mean, you can utilize like a triangle right here would be good, or whatever works to help you make the sections neat and staggered. So a part above a dread above a part, and so on. Then your next section that you're going to focus on, so we've just finished this row, or rows. If you're doing really tiny dreads, that could have been 2 entire rows, but for me it was just 1. But the next section is this weird little section at the crown of your head. And this is not a center part, this is a side part, but that's irrelevant. So at the crown of your head, you're going to have a little cat eye shaped section, or a little eyelet shaped section. And it's going to be kind of, I don't know, crescent-y or whatever. It's important to make this section different, because if you do these part lines all the way back, they're going to look really weird. So you want to cut them off at a reasonable point, and that's what I use this section for. And I use rounded off triangle sections to fill out the corners, and as square as possible sections to make these parts. And then finally, this section right here is your home stretch, and it's a lot easier to do than the rest. It's a lot easier to see. If you want to put a part line into your hair, go ahead and put one wherever you put it. I think it's ideal to have a side part, a middle part, and another side part, because it allows you versatility in your styling. But that's optional. You don't have to put in parts. You don't have to do it this way, but this is the way I like to do it. I always carve this side parting because it's where I prefer to part my hair. And then you can use little triangle sections along the hairline to make stuff work. And basically you just want to bricklay pattern this whole area. So, you know, part it side, middle, side, and then maybe another one if it fits, maybe even more if they fit. And just bricklay section all of these, and basically that's the home stretch, and you're done. So that's my little guide on sectioning your dreads. You can always use your mouse to hold dreads. That was always, or hold the section of hair you're working on. That's always convenient. You can get little hair salon clippies. And here's me just demonstrating that little trough row, how the part lines I was making, I was checking to make sure that it was staggered. So you can see this part falls above a dread, and this part line falls above a dread, and this dread falls above a part. I can't stress enough how important it is to stagger things. So yeah, thank you for bearing with me. That was my video on sectioning, and I hope it has been somehow helpful to you. So thank you. Here's me drawing a heart with my mouse for you. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for watching. I hope this helps. Bye.